I'm Salina Brilla, and this is DIY Live, Huntsville, Alabama's YouTube channel dedicated to capturing the underground. I'm here tonight on my front porch with no other than OJ Simpson. How you doing, OJ Simpson?
What's going on, Miss Salinas?
Right on. Now, of course, you can't get him confused with the other OJ Simpson. This is
not in Huntsville, at least.
And not in Huntsville.
Some people start to think about the other guy when they start thinking about me when somebody even mentions the other guy now.
So true, so true. I remember when I first met you, you told me your name was OJ, and I was like, no, it's not.
Oh yeah, trust me. There's been so many times where they ask me about my last name. They're like, "It's not Simpson." It's like, yeah, actually it is.
Actually it is. Now, you are a drummer.
And
you have been in many, many different bands around here.
To say the least.
How old were you when you started playing in bands?
When I first started playing in bands, I was about 17. That was when I first started doing. I actually tried out for, believe it or not, what eventually became the Time Bombs to start off as the generic. They were the generics at the time.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and I started off at those guys, but then I was not practiced enough yet, and I was at a step yet. So, they were nice about it, but I just wasn't what they needed. But that actually did motivate me to keep playing and keep doing what I was doing. So I gotta thank Jason Wiley for that one.
Right. Yep. So what was the first band you? Okay, so that was when you were 17.
That was when I was 17.
And then
right after that, I met Max Oliver. You know him. He used to be in Corporate Sponsored Uprising.
Yep.
And we were in high school together, and we ended up starting. We talked, and we were like, well, I guess we should. We started. We got close, and we was like, well, we should form a band. So we started jamming and whatnot, and we eventually found two other guys, and we eventually formed a band called Kick Liquid.
Oh, Kick Liquid.
Yeah, that was way back when.
I was going to say, that was before my time.
Yeah, that was back in the earlier when they did the Neverland shows, back when the no profit organizations where they were just just trying to find places for young people to do. And we would be at a lot of those meetings just so we could actually have, just so we could be able to basically get on the bill.
So tell me about these Neverland shows. Like, I'm not from Huntsville, and I want to know about Huntsville's history from before I was here. So what are these Neverland shows?
The Neverland shows was from a nonprofit organization where young kids, basically like late high school kids and teenagers, would get together, and they would meet, I think, Tuesdays or Thursdays, something like that, either at UAH or over at somewhere in that area. And what they would do was they would get like venues to the Knights of Columbus building or the John Hunt building. They did a lot over there, and they did a whole lot over at UAH, where they would get bands in and just basically set up shows where it was supposed to be a non-drug, non-alcohol organization, but
you got teenagers, and young adults.
Yeah,
so
we were
backpacks happen.
Yeah, we were teenagers in our young years. So, needless to say, the non-alcohol thing was was null and void with some of us. Okay. But that's where I met Drew Shiflett at. A Christian Shiflett who's in Crash and Falcon. Mm-hmm. That's where we met, because they were in a band called Postal at the time, and during that time, we were like Kick Liquid, Postal were kind of the upstarts, but we eventually started, forming a relationship, where we started, forming shows together, where we were doing stuff at Cheers. Cheers is where that place is? That's pretty much just like a parking lot now next to the car wash over here on Memorial Parkway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that used to be a bar called Cheers.
That's funny. They have a Cheers here.
Yeah, they had a Cheers with the little piano stage
where
and stuff.
Everybody knows your name. Yeah.
With the little piano stage, and that's where a lot of bands used to do a lot of their earlier shows too.
Oh, that's cool.
Matter of fact, that's where I met Lee at in one of my prior bands.
Okay. So after Kick Liquid, what happened next?
At the Kick Liquid, I went on a long hiatus for about damn near 8-9 years.
Is that where Rain came in?
Yeah.
Your daughter?
Yeah, yes. That's when Rain came along, maybe about, I'd say about a year, 2 years after Kick Liquid split, because a few of the guys ended up moving, for a little while, moved up to Washington, and that's So yeah, it wasn't an ugly split, but it was kind of like one of those, guys got sick, wanted to move on to other things. So once Kick Liquid split, and then a little while after that, I had my daughter, and I just went on a long hiatus because I just, I was a little heartbroken from that one. Not to mention, the that didn't know what else was going on the scene. So I just basically, was stagnant for a little while without a band.
And it's super easy when you have young children to be disconnected from everything. You have to work and take care of people. That's an easy thing to do. So then what was what brought you back into music again?
What brought me back into music was when I was, believe it or not, it was kind of on accident. I was, just one day, one of my friends ended up bringing me out to Sports Page just to hang out, and I just so happened to run into Lee that day, and Lee was saying, "Yeah, man, I mean, we was actually looking to, we were actually looking for a drummer," and I knew Lee from back in the day from from his earlier days from Facade, and I knew Anson back when he played in what was the name of that band?
We're talking about Lee Bolden, by the way.
Yes, we're talking about Lee Bolden.
Yes.
And yeah, I think it's Pyre. That was the name of the band that Anson was in, because that was when I met Anson and the Pyre guys. That's basically when I started hanging out at the park. Actually, that's what happened between the Kick Liquid years, was a lot of years hanging out at the park, a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking, a lot of other stuff.
That happens. At the park. What's the park?
The park is down in the downtown where everybody used to hang out.
Okay, so actually the park.
Yeah,
Brown Spring Park.
The actual
park.
Yeah.
The actual park. I've heard stories about down there. Like I said, I wasn't here at that time, but I've heard stories about things happening in that park in the middle of the night.
It was, sometimes it wasn't even in the middle of the night. Sometimes it was just during the middle of the... that was basically where most of us just went down there. We weren't old enough to hang out at bars yet. We were barely, some of us were in between that age, and we just didn't go, bar hopping just yet. So basically, the park was was the place to go. And matter of fact, that's during the Kick Liquid years when I was playing there. That's where we had. Believe it or not, we actually did have a concert down there. Not even not where they have it now, where they just set up a stage, but where they have the Ramadas going up the stairs. Yeah, that's what they actually had.
That'd be a great place to have a show.
It was a fantastic place to have a show.
That's a great place.
It was fun. It was really fun.
Right on. Okay, so you meet up with Lee and Anson. And Pyre is that band.
Pyre, he was in a band, when Anson was in Pyre, that's when he was in the band with the late great Chris Lee. That's where I met. That's where I met Chris. Yeah. Because he was the singer of Pyre, and they were basically a metal cover band. And that's where I met them. Where they did. I think the only time I actually officially got to see him play was at a party over at a friend of ours, Meredith's house. Meredith lives up in, I think she lives in Minnesota now, but don't quote me on that. It's somewhere with an M.
That's okay. We don't need to know where Meredith is. Hi, Meredith.
But she was also a big part of the not only the scene, but she was also part of the people that did Neverland too. She was one of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that whole Neverland idea.
She was part of the youth council. That's what they're called. The youth council that did a lot of those Neverland shows.
Okay. Now, when I first met you was when corporate sponsored Uprising. I have a shirt of theirs somewhere, and LIE and all of that kind of stuff. So tell us about drumming in those bands.
And Liberty and Embers.
Liberty and Embers.
That's what.
Right.
When I met Lee, it started off. He was saying that they were looking for a drummer, and we started. We started to jam a little bit, and Ansel was like, "Well, why don't you tell me about it?" And then one day, I guess Lee told me, "Yeah, we're just over here jamming," and the rest of the guys show up, and we did a couple of just jam sessions, and then from there, we was like, well, we can start writing new music now, and from there, that's where I guess that's where LIE had. We still had that thrash feel to it, but with me added to it, and with Anson, it gave it a little bit more of that funkier, Mudvayne kind of feel to it, where a lot of it kind of slams and gives it more of this, and that's where a lot of I'm guessing that's where a lot of my my influence came from, in that band. And that was actually a pretty fun 6 years.
Yeah, you guys played a lot of Copper Top where I was living. I remember. I have a Liberty Number shirt somewhere. I tried to find it the other day and I couldn't find it. And I was like, oh, that'd be perfect to be wearing while OJ's.
Yeah, no, I wish I still had my dog tag somewhere, but we gave so many of those away.
You gave so many of those away. I had one and now I don't know what happened to it. I did. I had one and I had a shirt and all that stuff. Yeah, we had lots of really great shows during that time. Those Copper Top years when we were all doing shows there.
Oh my God, I miss
okay, right? I do too. I miss it too.
especially Crossroads. I had a good time there. Stage is hot as hell at Crossroads, but it's a really
the first Crossroads, the one that was over, right? The first one, not the one downtown, or is it the one downtown?
The one downtown.
Oh, that was a really pretty place.
Yeah, I never got the chance to play at the original one downtown. The only time I used to actually go to that one was to go see 40 Ounce Midget.
40 Ounce what?
40 Ounce Midget.
Oh my goodness, I like the name of that. I would totally see a band called 40 Ounce Midget in a second. I'd be like, hell yeah, where's the midget? Yeah. Do they have a midget in the band?
No, they don't. But they have like...
Ooh, so misleading.
They call it 40 Ounce Midget because they have like a little gnome that's about 40 ounces.
Oh, okay. That's all right. Like, at least there's something. I was only there once ever, and I saw the Tennessee Rounders play. And oh my God, I still have their CD to this day and play it. And I loved it. It was a really neat spot, the old Crossroads. And the one downtown was great. So, let's talk about you play drums as a black dude in heavy metal bands. Okay? And what is that like? Like, that's the minority in our scene, let's just be honest about it. There's not a lot of black people that float around in the punk and metal scenes. So... what is that like? How are we as people? Like, how do punks and metalheads like own up in the world? Like, how are we?
It's interesting. It's like one of those things where like sometimes you feel like you stick out like a sore thumb, but at the same time you feel like sometimes it feels like you're something. It's different. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So just when it comes to, not to mention it's one of those things where giving, I guess growing up to the kind of music I grew up to, because I didn't really start getting into like the really like heavy rock stuff until I was about in my mid-teens when I moved here. So that was another thing that moving to Huntsville actually changed, was like got me really, because like growing up I was always a really big Chili Peppers fan.
Oh, right on.
But then when like new metal hit back in high school, I was like, this is the kind of stuff that's for me. You know what I mean? It's
right. I remember that. I remember that we're not far in age, and I remember when metal hit, and I was like,
yeah, because I me growing up to hip hop and R&B and a lot of that stuff, and then when they mixed that with metal, I was like, well, show me where to sign up.
I want to be there. I want to make that kind of music.
Especially when like Mudvayne came out, that's when I was like, oh my. Like when that first Dig video happened, we were like, "What?"
I want to be there. I want to do this too. So far we've got like 3 bands you've been in, and then there's a couple of other ones. You want to talk about any of them?
I played for a little while in Swiss Army Brat. I enjoyed that.
That's mostly a girl band. Yeah. So you would have been the only male member. Yeah,
that was basically what I was there for. I was basically just there to pretty much get Tam off the ground, because she wanted to get back into music, because everybody remembers her from Blood Red Baby Blue, and everybody remembers her from other bands that she did. And she called me one day and she was like, I'm really wanting to play again. And I was like, well, I'll do anything I can to get you back, awesome. To get you back on this scene. And then once they actually did start doing shows, I was like, hey, now we're doing shows. That's a better way for you to be able to find you a female drummer. And then what you do, I'll graciously step down. And that's what happened there.
And they got Jade.
Yeah. Oh. I was like, well, you're in good hands then.
Right? You can't knock Jade at all. No, the Jade is a great drummer. She's a drummer cancer slug now with organ passing. Yeah. I can't wait to get the chance to see them when the world goes back to normal.
So that's 2 black drummers she replaced.
Oh, that's funny. You're right. That's right. That's right. 2 black drummers she replaced. That's great. And then for I don't know. What else do you want us to know about Mr. OJ Simpson?
And then, of course, everybody remembers my small stint in 1 Second Later.
I remember 1 Second Later. Yes.
Which, that one, we only did maybe a handful of shows, but at the same time, I got the chance to play with the Helton brothers one more time. So,
nice.
well, the Helton Wilson brothers. And any project to do with Anson, it's always automatically a yes for me, since I've known the guys for pretty much 20 years
Anson
now.
is a good fellow.
Yes, he's good people to know.
And his mother-in-law would come to shows. I remember her. Because I was bartending, and she was so sweet. And she'd get, I think, a margarita, and just one. And it'd be like, oh, who is this? And he's like, that's my mother-in-law. She was so sweet. And I'd be like, hi.
Yeah, I think I've only met his mom once, and I was at his wedding.
Yeah, I don't think I met his mom, but it was his mother-in-law that would come to the shows. Yeah. Yes, and his wife and stuff, which was great. Because back in those days, I was bartending and booking music and checking IDs and setting up PA. Like, wow. Yeah. I was like,
you were a workhorse, Salina.
I was happy I got to meet any of you guys longer than just a few minutes. Yeah.
But hey, we did plenty of business together.
We did a lot of stuff together. Absolutely. And lots of friends together. Like, we were talking about Chris Lee, miss him to this day. Oh, do you remember that time in I remember in Copper Top, I was there and I was setting the PA up, and Chris comes running into Copper Top and he's like, Salina, somebody's outside fucking with OJ. And I was like, what? And he was like, you gotta help him. You gotta go outside. And some guy was trying to pick a fight with you. And I got right into the middle of it between you and that guy. And I was like, you're not fucking with OJ. You can just take your ass on. And he's trying to, and he did take his ass on.
Because he was trying to tell me to leave?
I was like, OJ's not leaving. Yeah, he was trying to tell you to leave. And he was like, he's gotta go. And I was like, no. OJ does not have to go. You're the one that has to go. Yeah,
because Lee was like, because even Chris was like, man, I'm glad that actually didn't escalate. Like, I was gonna have to end up having to grab the guy in the headlocker.
Chris came and got me. Okay.
And then we ended up having some drinks and whatnot.
Right, not him though. That fucker went.
We'll talk about when the camera goes off on how the rest of that night ended. But
okay.
but that's not for the crowd, for the outside crowd.
The outside crowd. Right on. Okay.
But that was still a fun night, to say the least.
Hey, as long as it turned out well in the end.
It did.
I think it had something to do with Dude's girl.
Yeah.
It did. So okay, I can see where it went.
Yeah.
He had to go, and you didn't, and neither did she. So okay. All right. So okay. So you love playing in bands, obviously. You love drumming. What drummers inspired you to become a drummer? Like, how did that come about? Like, what made you become a drummer?
I had some friends growing up. Well, when I first pretty much, is it cool if I smoke?
Can I?
Yeah.
Is it okay if we smoke a cigarette?
Yeah, because this.
It's cold out here.
This is one of those ones where, like, actually, I met some friends of mine back when I was my teenage years.
Oh, here, baby. Okay.
I started going to Skate Odyssey.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. And that's where I met my friend Danny, and a girl who used to hate him at the time. Now she's his wife.
Funny how hate can turn into love.
Right. Yes. Which her name is Sarah, and they were. They already knew that that's how we bonded. We bonded over, like, me knowing Chili Peppers, but other than that, they had Danny's favorite band was Nirvana, hers was, like, Metallica, and, Danny was starting to get, really into guitar, and Sarah was really into guitar, and at the time, like, when I first I was like, I want to learn an instrument. I put my hand on a guitar, like, first, like, tried to strum a guitar, I was like, I think I'll learn the drums. That looks a little easier. So as we we started bonding and getting to know each other more, the more I would start getting more into actually playing, like a lot of the stuff that I actually did start slowly getting like the feels for and the basics for is from watching Reverb on HBO. Remember that?
Oh, right on, yeah.
When you said those Friday nights on Reverb, I would go and record those and record music videos back when MTV had those.
I love music videos so much. I'd race home to get to watch the lineup every day, and it'd be the same ones for weeks. I didn't care. I was so excited.
And then I would basically start shadow drumming to a lot of those until, like, I finally got my, was able to pay for my first set, and it was a piece of shit. It was a piece of shit. But it was something.
Do you name your drums?
No.
No. Drums don't get names?
Not, I name it by the quality of it. I still got my black Gretsch, and I still got my Green Pearls.
Okay. Okay.
So I go by color and model.
Color and model. So, is there a favorite band that you have that you've seen live?
My favorite band that I've seen live? Well,
yeah.
Other than the
I hate the favorites, but still, I'm like, what was one show that like totally blew you away?
Like, I was moved when I finally got to see the Chili Peppers, like right after their return, right when they came back with Californication.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was great. When they did, because they played the amphitheater in Tennessee, and that was that was the first time where I was actually moved when they found, because look, when they did that song I Could Have Lied. That was one of those songs that got me so excited I felt tears rolling down. I was like, yeah, because I couldn't believe that they were actually doing it. Because like that opening intro that John Frusciante does to that song, it's just to this day it still gets me in the feels. Believe it or not, and it still blows people's mind that the song So Beautiful is about Sinead O'Connor.
Aww. So what about playing with local bands? Was there a local band that you guys would play with that you like to play with?
Depending on the band, I guess.
Yeah.
Like when it came to, there's a long list of them when it came to Liberty and Embers. I mean, because we had our friends in DVR, Dixie Voodoo Revival.
Yep.
We used to do shows with Dixie Voodoo Revival. We used to do shows with Angry Native.
Mm-hmm.
We did a whole shitload of shows with Destin. I mean,
yeah.
We played on. I mean, most of our biggest shows a lot was with Destin. And then eventually, it was kind of a mini Kick Liquor reunion when we played with Corporate Sponsored Uprising.
Right.
So that was kind of, that was fun.
Yeah, that one sticks out to me because I was there. So
yeah.
I'm like, I remember Liberty and Embers and Corporate Sponsored Uprising playing together because I was there for that.
Yeah, and I think, didn't we meet at that benefit show for Jason? Were you there?
I don't know.
Because I'm pretty, the one
I cannot remember
at Blackwater Hatties.
At Oh yeah, I was there for that. Yeah.
Because that was one of when I met my friend Brad Blade.
Brad Blade.
I can't do this thing without
Swagger.
I can't do this without mentioning the Swagger, of course.
And you sing that song with him all the time when you're at the shows together.
Still do.
That's right.
And every now and then when Jackie Fury can't do it, they have a certain character that's called Tank Havoc that'll come out there and fill for Jackie every now and then.
Yep. The Cold Black Rain. That's right. The Cold Black Rain. I remember the last time I saw the Swagger and they were singing that song. I was like, OJ's not here to sing this song with us.
Cold Black Tears.
Cold Black Tears. That's it. Not right. Cold Black Tears. Yes.
Yeah, that was one of those ones where it was like. Where he calls me one day, he's like, dude, you should get up, you want to get on stage, you should do it like, sing Black Tears with me. I was like, you know what? It's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Because, like, I guess, like, that was one of those things, because I was thinking more bands should do collaborations. And I think from there was more bands,
I think you're right. I think so. Especially getting up and singing local band songs with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is always fun to see.
And that's always been my main thing when I am part of the scene, is just, like, having that more, like, that
camaraderie.
Yeah, camaraderie between the bands, because like that makes for a good show.
So you were really able to find that in the scene, a lot of camaraderie with other bands and other people. Yeah. Like that was something I always liked about our scene, was that everybody seemed like they came together and were enjoyed each other's company and enjoyed playing with each other.
And of course, that's what I enjoyed working with you. We set up the shows, you set up the date, and you take all the credit.
I don't take all the credit.
Hey.
You guys did all the work.
Hey,
well,
exactly.
Okay, I tended the bar and I put it on the calendar.
And you put the show on the calendar.
Yeah. That's true.
And my thing was always, but most of the time when people do the booking out, I mean, I had no problem, letting the bookers take the credit for it. So because you put on a great show.
Right, and you have to. It's a lot of work.
It's a
lot of work. Right?
To say the least. You got to get the bands together, find out when the bands will play.
Yep. Try doing it while you're bartending at the same time. That's fun.
Some bands can be a little bit of prima donnas, so that makes it a little hard to find a slot where they want to play at. But
yeah, that's why a lot of the time I would just leave it up to you guys and be like, oh, people that you want to play with, good, because that means I'm not putting people who don't want to play with each other together. Because that happened one time, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. Like, I'm not. No, I don't even like drama. So, usually it would be like, we have this show and we want to play with these people, and be like, sweet, perfect,
yeah,
perfect.
Those were the ones that made it easy.
Yes, those were the best ones.
Yeah,
it was easy. It was people who wanted to play together, wanted to put on a great show, promoted it.
Yeah, the hardest ones to set up shows with is the ones being like, how much are we getting paid? The first question, you're like, I don't
How many people are you bringing in at the door? That's what's going to depend on how much you get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as soon as the ones that ask about pay, those are the hardest ones to get on the bill.
Yup, that's very true. Because you're like, well, this is how we do it here. So, yeah.
I'm starting to kind of miss the punk and metal scene, to be honest with you.
Right? The whole pandemic being, not being able to be involved, and yeah, it's a hard time during this time. I was saying it's been a whole year since I saw you until now.
Yeah.
And that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, it feels weird going a year without being seen.
Yeah, right? It's odd to not be with your people and not get to enjoy your music with the people that you care about, that you do stuff with.
Yeah.
And I'm still the Yellow Power Ranger, remember?
Of course.
I know, we were out here one night and that's what we decided. I'm the Yellow Power Ranger,
That's
and
right.
I always accept that for sure. Like, if I'm going to be I'm not pink. I'm the Yellow Power Ranger.
You give off Yellow Ranger energy.
Right? That's what you said. You're the Yellow Power Ranger. And I'm like, I'll own it. I'll be the Yellow Power
Kind of like I got drunk the other day and told Keith he's my green one.
Oh, right on. There you go. There you go.
Keith was like, I've been in a lot of things, so that's an honor to me.
I thought it was an honor when I got to be the Yellow Power Ranger. I was like, sweet. Hell yeah. So, Huntsville music scene, if you could put it into, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 words. Let's think. Can we do that? Can we think like that? Huntsville music scene in 5 words.
Huntsville music scene in 5 words.
Because that's how many fingers I have. 5
Ooh.
words. 5 words.
Can't wait to get back.
Can't wait to get back. Love that. Can't wait to get back. Perfect. I can't wait for you to get back. I can't wait for all of us to get back.
I can't wait to be...
Be nice to see you behind a drum kit again.
It would be nice to be seen behind a drum kit again.
Right? We're working on that, hopefully.
It's a work in progress.
It is. It is. Hopefully with vaccinations and herd immunity and all that kind of stuff, we'll be able to get back there at some point.
Yeah, if me and Mom just decide to have everybody take the masks off by tomorrow, then it's going to probably be longer before you get back.
Yeah. I heard she's extending it to the 9th. Yeah, to April 9th.
So if she extends it longer.
We'll see what happens.
We shall see.
We shall see. There are places booking music in town.
Yeah.
There are things that are happening. There are outdoor venues, you know. So like the tetanus ramp, which is completely outside. Yeah. So that's good.
I just want to be able to go back without the paranoia.
Isn't it something?
Yeah.
Like we had GADFest last year, and the whole time, like we've all got our masks, and I'm like, dear God, please don't let the COVID be here. Please don't let the COVID be here. Please don't let the COVID be here. Spent so many shows. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this, but please don't let it go.
Especially since so far we've had some close calls, and I lost one in Tucson. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that one. We're still. The rest of my friends and family down there are still trying to deal with that one, but luckily, I can't say there's no upside to that, but
right.
Yeah, I guess the only upside is it's not more of us, but that's not, like I said, one's enough.
Yeah, well, it is, and the devastation. Like when people talk about it being a conspiracy and not real, my thing is like, well, I had it, so I know it's real. It's a true thing. It happens, and hopefully we'll get to the other side of it.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope we're starting to see that curve, but we'll see.
I know at this time last year, it was like, is this really going to happen? Are we really going to shut everything down? And then bam, it was this month, March. Yeah. Today's the 4th, so it was March. I remember the last time I went to a restaurant was my son's birthday. It was March 18th. And then right after, that was it. Everything had to shut. Yeah.
Yeah,
right after that.
And then after that, I was trying to find out what was going to happen at work, and then turned out, I had to sit out for a week on that one because they were shut down. But that was only like a week. No, actually, they closed one of our stores for like 2-3 months. Mm-hmm. So we only had to work out of one store, and that was crazy. And then turned out one person got COVID, so they had to close that store for a week. So
Yep. It's been, hopefully, by the time we get back, we'll all get back together again.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Hopefully by then I'll be in drumming shape again.
Hopefully.
Especially with the stuff that I might be playing soon, but
I'm excited. You said we can't talk about it, but you told us, and I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be great. I know Matt's excited about it. It'll be really good. It'll be good to see all of that group of people creating again. It'll be really exciting because all of the people in that are great musicians, including you.
Yeah, they're good dudes and people that I've known for a very, very, very long time. So.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always liked about here is so many of the people who played together know each other. They've known each other a long time. They've been in different kinds of bands together and stuff. It really makes for good music.
Oh yeah.
that whole family issue, the family aspect of it.
Yeah, it's almost like during the Liberty and Embers years, that's where I basically almost met a whole new, group of family. I went from the Neverland family to the people that I know now, Nice. New experiences, new people. There's still so many bands that I didn't get to name tonight, but there's still so many,
Well, if ever, I found my first calendar one day, and I was reading through because it was all handwritten then, because that's how I did stuff, and I was like, there's so many, oh my gosh, so many of us. Yes.
Yeah, no, I used to have a chalkboard where I used to, have marked down all the bands that either we played with or haven't played with yet, and then I put a check mark next to it, and then I was looking at old pictures at, at the place I used to live, and see pictures of it in the background. I was like, oh, I wish I didn't throw that away.
Right? Listen, I have flyers from almost every show I've ever booked. I kept at least one flyer from every show that I ever booked because I was like, I want to have this forever. At one point, I had them all over my house, and then I was like,
God, I wish I still had
took them
all
all
those.
down from my house.
Man, I have between Liberty and Embers and Kick Liquid alone, I would probably have them stacked about like that big.
I have a whole bin. Yeah, there's so many.
And then when I sat there and thought about it, and I was like, man, when I thought about the Similar Cops years, I was like, whoa. I actually did play there for like 3 years, and it was like, whoa, those 3 years went by fast.
Wow, I didn't even know it was 3 years.
Yeah, well, they called me in I think it was like 2014, and I think we started really getting stuff off the ground in like 2015, so it was probably about 2 years.
Yeah. Well, they've been a band that takes a hiatus here and there and stuff too. Yeah. So, when music starts again, who are the bands you look forward to seeing again?
Who I get forward to seeing? I get forward to seeing my girls in Swiss Army Bride, of course.
Right.
Of course, the Dirty Swagger. You can't. It's not a show without seeing a good Swagger show.
Right.
And I'm hoping to see Bucked Up, of course, because that's one of my ladies' favorite bands, and of course, Rob Buck's a good dude.
I haven't seen them in a long time. Yeah.
I would like to see what the former Similar Cops guys are doing. I would like to see that one. Mm-hmm. See what their new.
I think it's called Galas. Galas.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would like to see what that project is. And then, well, I guess what do you think? Probably Go-Go Killers. Because those guys are like family too. Mm-hmm. Plus, even Russ and Go-Go Killers said that basically Russ basically gave Liberty and Embers credit for getting him back on the scene again.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he said he came to an LIE show one day and he was like, you know what? I saw that was inspired me to get my ass off the couch. I was like, whoa. That was one of those things that gave you chills. It was like, man, I don't know what to say to that. You know what I mean?
That's great. See, that's what people do. We inspire each other to do stuff. And because you're like, I want to do more of this and be a part of this. That's awesome. And
now they got me wanting to play again.
Right? I'm excited to get to see you play again.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm Salina Brilla, and this is DIY Live, Huntsville, Alabama's YouTube channel dedicated to capturing the underground. I don't think you get more underground than a front porch.
That is underground as they get.
Right? And yes. Check us out on YouTube and join our Facebook page. And you can go back and look at other interviews and other stuff that's been happening. We've tried to stay alive during the pandemic. I did have a few people come and play here on the porch. Yep.
That was probably fun.
It was super fun. It really was. It was a lot of fun.